Hello, good evening. It is Friday. It is just gone 7:30, so it has to be the time for the Arsenal Women's Show. It's going to be a busy show this week. We are going to look back on the return of a certain player. You can see behind me there. Brilliant to see her back. We're going to look on the Everton game, of course, last Sunday, our first WSL game of 2024. Great win in the end, but a difficult game. We'll look at that. We'll look at the Reading game, of course, all that happened that night. We will also, of course, look ahead to what's going to be a very tough game this Sunday as well against Liverpool. It's all coming up the other side of this. So, good evening and welcome to the show. We have got, of course, our usual guest with us, as always, Andreas. Good to see you. How are you this week?
Good evening, everybody. I'm okay. An interesting weekend in London last week, and now back home and looking forward to the show and all. Yes.
Good to see you back in on the show as well, of course, because I know last week you sent us the videos, which were great, but it was good to see you back. I know we did speak at half-time, of course, on Sunday during the game, didn't we? Emma, of course, as well. Good to see you. How are you this week?
Yeah, not been too bad. Been an interesting week as well, going to the football, and then there's just working when they're just doing other stuff, basically, and just following games as have been going along. So, no, it's been good. It's been really good, actually, yeah. Good to see Andy again and great to catch up with him, have a word in the bar afterwards. It was really good.
Yeah, it's good. That was a nice picture that there was a used to, guys, which we put on the show last week, actually, when we got it sent through, which was nice. So we got to see used to, which was great. Talking about last weekend, what other place can we start the show with? And looking back on that game, look at Andreas's picture as well. Look at that, brilliant. Look, what better way to start the show with than looking back, of course, to last Sunday's game against Everton. So the first WSL game of the year, of course, following the Tottenham game before Christmas, nothing else than a victory was going to be required in this game. And we got it in the end. It wasn't pretty at times. We did it the hard way, as we sometimes tend to do, conceded a soft, daft goal, as we always seem to do as well. But the good thing was we showed that we can win games maybe in a slightly different way. We're not always going to be free-flowing, attacking football, scoring loads of goals. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we're going to have to win differently. And in this game in particular, we had to find a way to win the game, not as we anticipated it might have been. So I was fairly pleased with the result. Obviously, we're delighted with the result. Mm-hmm. And overall, I wasn't too disappointed. The second half wasn't great, let's be honest. We hung on a bit in the last 10 minutes. It was a bit nervy there, some corners, and we're like, oh, my God, don't let them score. But we did the job. We got it done. And at this point in the season, I'll be happy with scrappy 2-1 wins every week if it means we win every game. But improvements obviously will need to be made. Certain players need to step up their game. I don't think there's doubt about that. But we won the game. I mean, Andreas, you was there obviously with Emma in the stadium. What did you make of the performance overall? Because it was a bit hit and miss, wasn't it, over the 90 minutes, really?
I think it was well. If we are honest, the second half was maybe the worst half in this season. I don't understand why we gave away control of the match. I mean, we scored in extra time, in stoppage time from first half. So you go in halftime with a lead, with a late goal. So this should push you for the second half. I don't understand what happened. And of course we dominated the match without creating a lot of chances in the second half. And it was 10, 15 minutes before the end, it was as if Everton realized, we only need one more chance. We only need one more shot on target, and then maybe we'll take a point with us. The two corners in the last minutes were really nervy, and it wasn't great to watch, but to see the better things. The first half was okay. We got an early lead from Caitlin, and then the goal from Beth, the second goal that Beth headed in. It was a brilliant pass from Leah, from Molly, and this are the positive things. And the fact that the team reacted after the equalizer, it was like it is so often in this season. Our opponents had one shot on goal, and it was a good. But you have to say it was a brilliant pass. Yeah, it was really good playing from Everton, and not the best defending from Amanda, from Lotta, who didn't have the pace against the Everton player. But the reaction from the team after this equalizer was good. We pressed for a second goal before halftime. We got it. That's good, and the result was good. But our problems against teams with a deep block remain. And as I said on Saturday, it seems as if Jonas has no plan B. If his plan A, his tactics doesn't work, then I can't see any reaction for him. And bringing substitutes after 70 minutes or 80 minutes, that's too late. They can't have any influence on the match. So this is something I have to criticize. And I think that's it. A lot to criticize, a lot to do better, but in the end, we got the 3 points, and that's all that counts in this part of the season.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I kind of agree with the substitutions. I mean, we saw, we'll come on to the Reading game in a little while, but we saw that, we've got two starting 11s essentially in the group of players, and both of those starting 11s are good starting 11s as well. So we can make changes, and it isn't going to necessarily affect the quality of the team, because we've got players on the bench who are equally as good as some of the players that are in the team. You could argue some of the players on the bench are better than the players in the starting team. You could argue that to be true. In some positions, maybe it is, but they're certainly not worse. We're not weakening the team by making any changes from the bench. And I agree. I was shocked in that second half when clearly the game was going away from us for whatever reason, whether it was tiredness, whether it was, I don't really know what it was, but it wasn't working. Freshen it up earlier, get Stina on earlier, get Kyra maybe on earlier, get some of these things to be done. Chloe Lacasse, last second of the game, what was the point in that? Get her on 15, 20 minutes to play, to have an impact. We've got players on the bench that can make an impact. I was shocked by the lack of changes until very late in that game. I couldn't understand why that didn't happen, but it is an issue that Jonas maybe needs to work out. You're right, he needs to figure out. I mean, I don't think he's got a plan B, and I think the plan B we saw was the team that started against Reading. That's his plan B. But what he has to do is find a way of using both of those two 11s, if you like, starting 11s, interacting them so we can make the changes in game to make a difference in games like the Everton game where it wasn't quite happening for us in that second half. But you're absolutely right. This part of the season is about getting 3 points on the board every single game, winning as many games as we can. And yes, some of them won't be great. Some of the performances won't be great. They won't. But if we come out with 3 points, we have to be reasonably happy. I mean, Amar, you was at the stadium as well, obviously, with Andreas. What did you make of it, though? Because it was quite a flat performance, wasn't it? Especially that second half. And it was crying out for some changes earlier on, wasn't it? And they did that.
I mean, we started as we like to start games on the front foot, dominate with the ball, and just try to take it go. Well, I wouldn't go necessarily go full blooded at the opposition, but try to dominate, try to impose our style of play on the game. And then, you scored the early goal, and then we had chances with it. The keeper made a couple of good saves, granted, fine. But then you always know with our defence to give away a soppy goal. I mean, what Manu was doing halfway on a goal, it made it easy for Kocha. I don't know, I can never pronounce his name. Is it Schnursch? Is that how you say her surname? Yeah, I think something like that. It just made it easier for her to roll. It's like she could have just stayed on the line and stayed back, but the defence didn't do the job properly. And just one ball through the back and they score. It's just that's alarming. It's like Route One. They're not allowed. You look at all the goals we conceded this season. Can only think of maybe 2 goals where the opposition said, "Yeah, that's good play." A lot of the other goals have been down to our sloppiness and our inability to react, and also just being too easy to pass through. You have to. That's one thing. If you're going to win a title and be almost perfect, you have to cut out those errors. It's if they're not learning from them. You see, and as you say, with regards to the flexibility, when now that Leah's back in, you can't keep going with the same 11. Exactly the same 11 I played against Watford played today. I thought, mix it up a little bit. Just don't burn the players out. Like we're seeing, for example, with Bukayo Saka and the men's team. Give these guys a rest and make your substitution earlier. Stina showed her value in the week, scoring a hat-trick. And Leah as well. I don't know why it's to wait until the cup competition to make those changes. They're crying out that you've got to mix it up and to try and ask the opposition more questions, and leaving it too late. It's just, as you say, he's too passive and he's not got a plan B. He's just determined to stick with his plan A. And I feel like he's got to find a way of being more flexible. Otherwise, the same mistakes are going to keep on happening. And whilst we can be more clinical, it's not going to. Nothing as much is going to change. So I feel like he's got to think about that going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't. Earlier in the season, I remember we've had conversations here, and we had conversations earlier in the season where we sort of said, "What does Jonas know? What his best 11 is? Has he worked that out yet?" And we wasn't sure if he had, because he kept making little changes to the team every week. He wasn't sure what his best defence was. He didn't see what partnership up front was right. And now it seems as though he's got in his mind what his first choice 11 is, because he's playing it in regular games now, which is great that he's figured that out. He needed to. But at the same time, he's got to understand that 11 players don't win you a game, don't win you a league title, don't win you trophies. It's we've got a squad of 18 players, good players, haven't we? So he's worked out his starting 11 that he likes, his 11 that he thinks is his best 11. Whether we agree or disagree doesn't matter. He's picking the team. His first 11, that's fine. But what he's now got to do is find a way of making those impact players come on at the right time to make the impact that they can have in the game when it's not working. And that's something he's got to. He's learned his starting. Now he needs to learn how to manage the squad a bit better. And if he gets that right, there's no reason why we can't go on and win every game, potentially, with the players that we've got. It's just managing that squad right now. And I thought against Everton, that was the one thing that really disappointed me, was that he didn't manage the squad as well as he could have done. And in the end, it almost cost us 2 points, because Everton could have got an equaliser. They had that headed chance, didn't they, quite near the end, that went just wide. And it was like, oh my God, if that goes in, that'd have been a disaster.
The deflection over the bar as well.
Yeah, they had a couple of chances at the end, and he's got to do that better. He's got to learn quickly to manage this squad, because it's a great squad he's put together, brilliant squad. But it's not going to be a brilliant squad if he's not using the players correctly and giving them the right amount of time to have impact on the game. So it is lessons have to be learned. You're absolutely right. We do need to learn lessons from what's gone wrong so far, but also as well, there's been a lot of things that are right, and make sure that we keep them as well. But just cut out those little errors. And the goal Everton scored was so poor. I mean, Manu Zinsberg, her problem with that was her positioning, wasn't it? She was just, what was she doing there? She had no chance of doing anything. She gave her no chance of being in a silly position. And unfortunately, that happened in the Tottenham game as well. Similar example, wasn't it? She was in a bad position, so she was caught out and she looked like she'd stood still. The Everton goal was exactly the same. And, that needs to be better. She's got to be better. Yeah, poor defending, to be fair. One ball through the middle opens us up. No, we can't allow that to happen.
No, exactly.
It was poor all round. But I don't know what Manu was doing, really. It was terrible, that. But we got away with it this time. We got the win, and that's what matters. But we can't keep letting in goals like that, because it's going to cost us in other games against better teams. But we won the game, and I think that's the main thing that we need to focus on, really. Terry says, "Good evening, Richard, International Man and Mr. Andreas, and 8 o'clock Amar."
Well, I'm not 8 o'clock Amar anymore, but thanks. Yeah.
No, not the last couple of weeks you've been on time, which is good. He says, "How nice is it to see Leah back with a great smile on her face? Can't wait to see her back to her best." Exactly, yeah. I mean, that was fantastic. We'll talk about that in a minute, of course. Brilliant stuff. Terry says, "Gutted with the Everton goal, but to be honest, it was a great pass that split our defence, and she did take it well." Yeah, she did, but we made it easy, didn't we? Manu's position made it easy for us to finish that. I mean, anyone could have. The whole goal was there, wasn't it? Just put it wherever you want, and she just put it in the big space. So. It was a good pass, but we shouldn't be caught out like that. Terry said, "I've got a feeling our problems have started ever since Andreas keeps having Meadow and Viv around on a Friday night." Well, they have to come around for tea, don't they, on a Friday? It's fine, you know. It's good that she's that they're there anyway, you know, looking happy, which is what we want to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you know, Everton we won, and I think that's probably the most important thing. The biggest positive was the 3 points. We'll take them. Keeps us 3 points off the top, which we'll take at this point in the season, and look forward to hopefully some better performances in the WSL to come. So while last Saturday, as it turned out, I said Sunday before, it was on Saturday, wasn't it, the game? As it turned out, you know, that maybe wasn't the greatest game that we could have had, but the game that we had on Wednesday night was certainly, shall we say, it had a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? Things to be excited about, maybe. Lots of good things came. So
meaningful.
Yeah, it was. It was a great game. So let's have a look at what happened. Now, I think what we could do is we could spend the next half an hour talking about Stina Blackstenius, right? And how brilliant she is, and how she's not getting more minutes in the WSL, and what she did against Reading proves how important she is to the team and how much more minutes she should be playing. And we could do that. And we've spent a lot of time on this show this season talking about Stina, and that was a great centre forward performance, wasn't it? You know, she took her goals really well, particularly the second one that she rolled into the bottom corner. She's done that before. Brilliant finish from her, brilliant performance from her all round. But what was nice about the game, apart from all the other things we will come on to separately, the players coming back from injury and all that kind of stuff, what it showed was, one, the depth of the squad, 9 changes to the starting lineup, and it looked as though that team knew what they were doing together. It looked as though they knew how to play together, which was something that maybe earlier in the season wasn't happening so much. Yes, Reading have got their problems. We know that. They're in a mess, the club. They've gone part-time since getting relegated. And it's a game we should win. We did win comfortably, but I don't care too much about Reading. I don't want to look at Reading and say, well, Reading are not very good, we should win that game. It was more about how we looked as a team and what we did as a team. And I thought the performance from first minute to last against Reading was really, really strong, a really good performance. And we didn't it would have been easy to let our level drop. We were 3-0 up. We could have thought, the game's won, got sloppy. We didn't. We kept focused and we did a really, really professional job. And I just love to see that. It was brilliant. And we got a lot of goals as well, which I think we needed to do because we've missed a lot of chances not scoring enough. I mean, Andreas, what did you make of that Reading performance? Because I thought it was, overall, in 90 minutes, it was almost perfect, wasn't it?
It was a better performance. And, sometimes you say a team needs to give an answer to a bad performance. And this was an answer, but it was the answer of players who don't get enough minutes in the WSL. And this is a good reaction from these players, like Kyra, like Stina, Leah, Chloe, all those players who don't get enough chances to prove themselves in the league. They proved how important they can be. They made their point. But we should not forget it was only Reading. We can't compare Reading to the teams, to our opponents in the WSL. Even teams like Everton or West Ham or Bristol are a lot stronger and better than Reading is. We know the gap between the Championship and the WSL. It's a big gap. So don't forget this. That the quality of the opponent was a lot weaker than we had against Everton, or we will face against Liverpool. But nevertheless, you have to score 6 goals. You have to win such a match. And as you said, the really positive thing is that the team didn't sit down after the second or third goal and said, "Okay, we are through. We will win this match and we are through to the knockout stage in Conti Cup. Okay, let's relax and let them play." No, they were focused and they kept on pressing and pressing for the next goal, and yeah, that was the positive sign. And of course, as I said, the players who did not get enough minutes in the WSL, they made their point and they showed, I'm there too, I'm available, and you can count on me. So give me minutes. That's a positive aspect, and I think the other positive, most positive aspect, Leah's comeback, we will talk later. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a night of all positives for me. I mean, nothing negative in that game whatsoever. I mean, it was almost a perfect night, wasn't it? I mean, Stina getting a hat trick, which, you know, I think we all have really been desperate to see Stina get more minutes. But she's got 11 goals this season now, 11 goals. She's top scorer by a mile. You know, Russo plays every game, pretty much 90 minutes every game. She scored 7 goals. Stina hardly plays. She comes on for 10 minutes here and there. Yes, she got a full game the other night, fair enough. But she generally comes on for minutes at a time. 11 goals this season. It's just incredible. But she deserves more game time. She deserves more starts. And if ever there was a player that wanted to prove a point, that was what Stina did with it, the way she took those 3 goals. They were 3 very different goals. And that's something that, and I said this actually the other night, that for me, Stina reminds me quite a lot of Aubameyang. She's almost like the women's version of Aubameyang in the fact that sometimes in the game, her first touch sometimes isn't always great. The ball maybe bounces off her a little bit, or her link-up play. Played well the other night. Her link-up play was good, but sometimes it isn't always great. But get her in the box, give her a chance, and she's a real clinical finisher. A bit like Aubameyang was for Arsenal when he was there. Very similar type of player, I think. And for it, she's like almost like the women's equivalent for me, and that's a compliment, by the way, to her, because you know that's what Russo doesn't have. Russo has everything else. She's a brilliant footballer, but she's not clinical enough in the box, and she doesn't get in. Look at the first goal that Stina got, our second goal, when Steph Catley put the ball into the near post. She was attacking that space, got the goal. Yeah. Russo doesn't really do that very often, does she? She doesn't get those type of goals, and that's where the two of them are different, and that's why they should both be playing, because they offer something different, you know. And Stina showed her qualities, and she's showed her qualities since she's been at Arsenal. I think she's very underrated. She doesn't get enough credit, and I thought that you could see how desperate the other players in the team were for her to get that hat trick in the second half. They were passing to her sometimes where they could have shot, or trying to set her up for the goal, and in the end, it was a mistake at the back that she got it from. But again, it showed her instincts, didn't it? She was quickly onto it, knocked it past the keeper and scored, you know, brilliant. So, yeah. But, yeah, it wasn't just Stina, was it? Chloe Lacasse as well. I thought she was brilliant, not getting enough minutes. She had a great game. Kyra, we know how good Kyra is. She's played well in the WSL. We know how good she is. That wasn't a surprise, was it, how well she played? You know, Steph Catley was back in the team. 2 assists for Steph Catley. Leah Cadena, her first goal as well. You know, so many positives. It was just unbelievable night, really. I don't think I've enjoyed a game from start to finish as much as that for a very long time. Everything good happened. The only thing that didn't happen maybe was Viv coming on and getting her first goal since her injury. That's probably the only thing missing from it being a perfect night. But I mean, Emma, that was such a good. It was such an enjoyable game to watch, wasn't it? I mean, obviously as an Arsenal fan, even more so. But it was a good game of football. I just thought it was almost a perfect night, wasn't it?
Yeah. Again, if you're being slightly overcritical, we could even had more goals, but I think we'll take the 6. We knew that Reading, as you say, were a bit of a mess, but this wasn't about them. This was just about trying to impose our style of football, as we always try to. Just get the job done, really, and not concede any silly goals. And yeah, that was a perfect opposition in many ways. And we looked really good from the off. Watched the highlights, and there are plenty of highlights on show. And Chloe was really good, going on left to create lots of havoc for the back line. And we looked good through the phases. Didn't give the ball away. Looked really strict going forward. Again, everyone was just on sync with each other. But again, he could have rested a few more. I know he played Vic again from the beginning, and he played a few others as well, Caitlin as well. But it was good to see a few players rested, and we'll see what happens going forward. But it was in many ways it was a perfect performance, and good to see different goal scorers coming back. As you said, Stina proving her worth. I mean, what did she have to do to get a start in the WSL? You see, some players are starting both games, and she's resorted to substitute appearances. And I think I hope she doesn't go. I don't think she will, but I would like to see her come on earlier in games when the going is getting tough. And so Sunday might well prove to be a tricky one. Might prove to be a great example for Jonas to bring on earlier. So no, it goes to show our squad depth is probably as good as it's ever been, arguably better than it was when we won the title under Joe. So I mean, hopefully going forward, Jonas can start her more. But yeah, it was a perfect performance in many ways, ideal opposition, and we move forward. Just one thing I'd also add is the draw was supposed to be tonight for the quarterfinals, but because they're investigating Aston Villa's use of Noel Barrett's, that's actually now been postponed until Monday.
Yeah, that's a strange one, isn't it?
That was a very strange one, I thought.
Very, very weird. But anyway, there's some strange goes on at Aston Villa, actually, anyway, this season, to be fair. LG has said Jonas out, which I'm not in agreement with at all at the moment. I know we had a bit of a conversation about it the other night on the show, didn't we? But, I'm not necessarily saying that won't be the case forever. At the moment, I don't think so. Greg says the mentality of the team against lower teams doesn't seem as intense as when we play against top teams. It's as if they expect to win. Well, now you see exactly that, but that's what impressed me the other night against Reading, because I thought our intensity was high against a lesser team. In the past, I agree, that hasn't always been the case, and that's been a worry, but I thought the other night, that wasn't. We did actually have that intensity, which is why we won the game 6-0. We kept going and kept going and kept going, and we didn't give them a second on the ball, did we? They had one shot up in all game, Reading, and yes, they're not a great side, but I liked our intensity. But yeah, we need to do that all the time. And you're right, it has been an issue before. It wasn't the other night, which is great. Terry said, in my opinion, Stina has to start against Liverpool. I can't see what else she can do to prove herself. Well, regardless of that hat-trick against Reading, she's done enough to prove herself already this season, with the minutes that she's had. Every time she makes an impact, she's scoring a goal, she's creating goals, she's doing everything that you want her to do. So, yeah, I don't know what more she can do. That's up to Jonas. He's got to make those decisions, hasn't he? So we'll see what he does on Sunday. We'll talk about that, of course, very, very soon as well. Hannah says, hi, everyone. I think Isabel, another one, you see, is resting Chloe to play a right wing instead of left wing. That is what we're saying. Then let's see. Well, I don't know about better. They're different players. But, yeah, I mean, let's not question Jonas quite yet too much. I mean, I think he's had 2.5 seasons where we've done well. We've had some great moments. We've won a trophy, European semi-final, selling out the Emirates. I don't think it's time to be looking at necessarily Jonas out now. We'll see what happens. If he doesn't manage to get the best out of this squad and we don't win trophies with this group of players, obviously we have to question him, of course, and we will. But at this moment in time, I'd say let's just hold fire for a bit and see how the rest of this season pans out. Greg says, any decent striker would have scored a hat-trick against Reading. Come on, Greg. Come on. Look, we love you, mate, but come on, look. She's
more than half decent, man. Come on.
Yeah, you're right. Obviously, Reading aren't great, but you've still got to score a hat-trick, whoever you're playing against. Not all strikers would have scored a hat-trick in that game, regardless. Just because Bunny Shaw scoring hat-tricks in the WSL doesn't mean she would have scored a hat-trick in that game. She may have done, but she may not have done. Stina did. And that you can only beat what's in front of you. So come on. I mean, give her some credit as well. She's brilliant. And yes, it wasn't the best of opposition, but she's proved this season she can score against the best teams. She did it last season. She scored in the big games against the big teams, and she'll do it again. So it's not just against Reading. She can do it against better teams, and she will, and she has done. Yeah. And Heather says, we need a replacement for Viv. Well, we need someone who can come on for her. And we don't need to replace her, do we? Let's be honest. We don't need to replace her. She's just back from injury. She needs time. But, yeah, I mean, Terry says I'll take her to Liverpool. I think we'd all quite like that, wouldn't we, Terry? Actually, I'm in support of that. Actually, I am in support of that from Terry. There, I'll take her to Liverpool. Yeah, we'd all take. There's two reasons why I support that. One, because it weakens Liverpool, which is great, and secondly, it will strengthen Arsenal. So it's a win-win, isn't it? Let's be honest, it's a win-win. So
come on, no.
LG says I think Stina is not that rated as one of the best because she probably isn't a technically gifted striker like Viv Kerr. But yeah, exactly. Yeah. She doesn't score chip sticks off him. No, she doesn't. This is why I compared her a little bit to Aubameyang, because as an overall footballer, she's not as good as those players that you've mentioned and others as well. I agree with you 100%. But what she does do is in that penalty area, she's lethal. She knows where the goal is, and she's a finisher, and that's what you need. Any great team needs a finisher, don't they? They need someone to be in there putting the chances away. And Stina's proved it time and again, not only for us. Before she came to Arsenal, her goal scoring record in her career has been brilliant. So she's a goal scorer, isn't she? And yes, she doesn't score all those but let's face it, a fancy chip over a keeper is still worth exactly the same as a tap in that she got in the third goal. They're worth the same, aren't they? So it doesn't matter, does it? Yeah. If she's going to score 20 tap-ins or 5 tap-ins, 5 chips over the keeper, what's better? Is the 20 tap-ins are better, aren't they? So I agree with you in terms of overall technical ability. She's not as good as some of those players. No, of course not. She's nowhere near the quality of Viv, is she? No, nowhere near. But that doesn't matter. She doesn't have to be. That's not her game. Her game is to be in the box, get on the end of chances, run in behind and finish. And that's what there's no one better than her at doing that. Nobody better, I don't think, in the league as doing that in the WSL than Stina. But Jonas probably thinks differently because he's not picking him up, is he? But he's the manager, so there you go. Yeah. Greg says Russo's probably got something in her contract to say she's got to start. I'm not sure. It does seem as though he's not willing to leave her out. I know. Don't forget, he was prepared to break the world transfer record to get her last January. He clearly wanted to get Russo, didn't he? He wanted to get her, Jonas. He obviously rates her highly, so he's got her now and he's going to play her because that's what he wanted to do. But I'm not sure if it's anything in her contract necessarily, but obviously she's favourite, isn't she, with Jonas? He's just got to find a way to give Stina the time on the pitch. I don't necessarily mind if Stina's not starting games, as long as he's going to bring her on with 20 minutes to go when she's needed, when we're losing or we're struggling like against Everton. Do you know what I mean? Don't give her 5-10 minutes. No good. Give her plenty of time to have an impact. But anyway, we're not going to moan about the Reading game because it was so good, and we're certainly not going to criticise Stina for scoring a hat-trick, even though it was poor opposition. She got the job done, and she's basically knocking on the manager's door now, isn't she, ahead of Sunday and saying, "Come on, mate, I deserve more time on the pitch." And you can't argue with that. She does. But it wasn't just about Stina, as I said. It was a whole team played well. The second team, if you like, because that's basically what it was. 9 changes. It was a second 11. Everybody played well. And everybody stepped up, and a few players I thought made a point, to say we need more time, we deserve more time, and let's hope that they all get the time that they deserve because we need them to, don't we? But of course, we cannot talk about the Reading game without the highlight of the season, probably so far. We'll see in this segment, which we I mean, what a moment. I wasn't actually expecting her to come on. Yes, she was on the bench and there was talk of her being in the squad. I'm thinking, Beth was on the bench 2 or 3 times without coming on. Viv was on the bench a few times. I'm thinking she's there to get in the squad to help everyone along. And suddenly 60 minutes played and Leah Williamson is coming onto the pitch. It was like, wow. And yes, apart from one sloppy pass that she made within the first 5 minutes of coming on, it was like she'd never been away. Just incredible. And obviously the assist for Beth's goal as well. And I mean, it was just an amazing moment, wasn't it? And, the smile on her face when she came on, it was like, Viv was the same, Beth was the same when they came on. And I don't think we can really appreciate the work that's gone in that they've put in, all of them, to get back playing again. It's not easy. It's a really tough route. And brutal. The work she's had to put in behind it. I mean, she's got back quicker in time than Beth and Viv have. So, her recovery, and that could be because her injury was slightly different. Of course, everyone recovers differently, but the work all of them have put in, but the work Leah's put in to be able to come back out there. And yes, it was a nice game to come back into. You're 3-0 up against the championship team. You're not going to be tested defensively. You had time on the ball. She could get into it. The perfect game to bring her into. But, I mean, wow, I was shocked that she came on, but it was just incredible. I mean, Andreas, how nice was that to see Leah back? And that ball for Beth's goal, it was like, wow, we've missed that, haven't we? Her ball's out from the back.
You don't know where to start with. The photo behind you, this smile on her face, it says all. It says how much she missed this. It's not only her profession, it's her passion. And she's back and she worked so hard. I think we all read the long interview with her when she said in the last 9 months, She was on her own, and she was the one who was pushing herself. Nobody else could push her. She did, and she worked harder than ever before in her life. And she loves playing football, but she hates to be in the gym. She said, "Yes, that love the gym, but she doesn't." But she had to go there day by day, and she worked really hard. Of course, every ACL injury is different, so you can't say one player is back after 9 months, another needs 12 months. That depends on the injury, but we know how hard she worked and with how much passion she was working for a comeback. And of course, it was the perfect moment when Beth was ready to play. It was against she was on the bench against Liverpool. Then she came on against Villa in difficult moments, difficult matches. It was not so easy, and Viv had to wait until there was a Conti Cup game where she could come in.
Yeah.
And for Leah, she was ready to play, and there was a Conti Cup game, and we were 3-0 up. So just a perfect moment. But I have never expected her to play 30 minutes in her first match. I mean, nevertheless, who the opponent or the opposition side is, 30 minutes for the first match after 9 months out. That's really tough. And she played as if she was maybe 9 days out. Fantastic. Yeah. And this chip ball to Beth, this assist for the goal. I don't know if any other player in the team can do this. This is pure and her pure quality. And with this assist, she showed what we were missing in the last 9 months. Of course, we missed her organizational talent, her being the boss of defense, everything, but also her opening of a game, her passes. Fantastic to have her back, but don't rush her in now. Don't expect her to start against Liverpool or be on the pitch for 60, 70 minutes. It was the perfect match. She did a great job, but you have to be patient. I think she needs more time, and I wouldn't be surprised if the next 1 or 2 matches are not as good as her performance against Reading was. But it's good. Good is not enough. It's fantastic to have her back. And one of the best players in the WSL, one of the best defenders in European women's football back on the pitch. That's just great. Yeah. Better than any new signing we could have done in the transfer window.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, it is almost, it's going to feel like a new signing in a way, isn't it? Because, and I was thinking, obviously, I mean, Terry makes a good point here. He says, don't forget Kimmy Little, 300 appearances, 164 goals. Yeah, I mean, exactly. Yeah. Her comeback as well almost got overshadowed a little bit, didn't it? Because everyone was so excited to see Leah back on the pitch and stuff like that. But, I mean, I was thinking, actually, that towards the end of that game, we had, obviously, Leah Williamson, Kim Little, Viv Miedemar and Beth Mead all playing at the same time. When was the last time all those 4 were in the team together? It was a long, long time ago. Long time ago. So that was great to see, wasn't it? It was a little bit of going back to like the old days a little bit, wasn't it? With those 4 great players, great Arsenal legends all on the pitch at the same time.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been a long time since we've seen that. And that was great. And it bodes well, doesn't it, for the rest of this season? And I agree, though. Let's not get too carried away with Leah. It's different playing against Reading, as we've mentioned, than it is playing against Liverpool or Chelsea or all the other teams. So, yes, let's not expect too much from her straight away. But it's just great that she's actually fit enough to be able to play football, kick a ball again, be out there on the pitch, and to show that you don't lose your ability, do you? You might lack a little bit of sharpness and fitness and all that kind of stuff from being out for so long, but you don't lose that quality that you've got on the ball. And she was just, absolutely, we've missed that, haven't we? The amount of attacks that she starts from the back for England as well as for Arsenal, and I think we'd have won the World Cup if Leah Williamson had been fit. I think Arsenal could have won the Champions League if she had been fit. That's how important she is. And the fact that she's now back is brilliant. Greg says, Leah to start against Liverpool. Well, I don't know. I actually don't know. I would be tempted, I must be honest. I would be tempted to play her because of how great she is, but we don't want to risk her picking up a little silly injury, do we? You know, she's had a lot of injuries in the last couple of years anyway, regardless of this extra one. So I would be more cautious with her personally. I'd love to see her play, of course. You know, we'd all love to see her play, but is she ready for a full 90 minutes against a team like Liverpool away from home, which is going to be a tough game? I don't know, but I'd love to see her play, of course. We all would. Greg says, Kim Little is nothing short of a legend. Well, she is, absolutely. She is a legend. There's no question. Absolutely. What a player she's been. 300 appearances, wow. 164 goals. That is some record, isn't it, for a midfield player? She's not like she's a striker. She's a midfield player. It's 1 in 3, isn't it? Better than 1 in 3. Almost 1 in 2.5 games. It's incredible. So, yeah, brilliant. She's a fantastic player, and she's still proving herself every time she plays it. She's still there. You know, she may be getting older, but, wow, she's still a fantastic player. And it's great to have her back as well. What an impact she's going to have as well in the rest of the season. I mean, Emma, Leah Williamson, what can you say, really? Just amazing.
Well, what can you say? Linchpin Leah, as I like to call her. Is there a player who embodies the values of Arsenal Football Club more than her and what it means to her? No, and she even said in an interview afterwards, I did say something along the lines of, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, we said, I can't imagine playing for a club, but I love playing for Arsenal. And I was saying about this last week. Where else would she rather be, you know? And your video I saw was watching a small clip of the podcast on YouTube last night. The fact, and also on I think it was on Facebook or somewhere, or Twitter, I can't remember. The fact that Kim went up and they were smiling, and the fact that she was giving her the award for 300, and Kim didn't want to take it off the shadow of her return. That was just absolutely class, wasn't it? And it just goes to show what it means to be playing for Arsenal, to have the fact those two work so well together. The fact that she was, I think Leah was probably when she was growing up watching Kim, and took inspiration from that, and they've only the growth that they've both made together has been noticeable, hasn't it? And they work extremely well for each other. They respect each other, and that was just class touch from Kim and Leah with each other end. And it's just great to see her back. It's like she's never been away. As I say, form is temporary, class is permanent, and the fact that she comes back and plays half an hour, gets that wonderful assist for Beth, it's like she's never been away, and the fact that she's back now is only going to make her stronger, and she's going to be so key for us. We're going to win trophies as she was before she got injured, and like when she showed when England won the Euros, it might have been different. You know, she played last summer, but we still did really well. But it just goes to show it's not the same without her, and now we've got a leader now. As I said, nobody embodies the values of Arsenal Football Club more than Leah, and to see her smiling, doing what she does, and going, watch out of the defences, because I think you're going to struggle to break us down when you've got a player like that in your squad.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you know, it's just incredible, really, that Leah Williamson was mascot in that game. They were talking about Kim Little. Was that Kim Little's first game, wasn't it, for Arsenal? And Leah Williamson was the mascot, and there they were after that game against Reading. You know, Leah's made her comeback from injury. Obviously, Kim's 300th appearance, just incredible. So that was a great moment, wasn't it? You know, between those two, and you know that they're kind of. I think most of us that have followed this team, they've been there all the way through, haven't they? You know what I mean? Because they've been here so long and been a part of it for so long, and they're still there now, and they're still so important, aren't they? You know, and the fact that we've now got them both back fit again for the crucial part of this season, where things are going to be decided. What better time to have them two back? Fantastic. So yeah, let's just hope that they're both going to be fine. They're not going to pick up any more injuries, because they both had quite a few in the last year or 2 years. So we want to keep them fit. We want them to have the impact that they can. But yeah, just to see Leah's that smile on her face in that picture there, just incredible, really. That's what it means, doesn't it? When you've been out for that long, doing something that you love, you can come back and do what you want to do again is incredible. So yeah, so pleased for her, so pleased for us as a team that we've got her back, for the squad and the fans, everybody. It's just brilliant news, isn't it? And yes.
And for Kim, Kim, to add, she is in European women's football. She is one of the most underrated players, because she's Scottish. She never had a national team to play a big tournament, or to achieve a title with her national team. And I remember that I have read from I don't know which player it was. She said, Kim Little is a player you sign at a club for just to be able to play with her in the same team. And that says all. And I remember the first matches I saw at Meadow Park in 2019. I didn't know all the players like I know them now. And after the first match I saw, I said to another fan, "How great is this number 10 Little? She's just fantastic." And he said, "I don't understand why clubs like Lyon didn't sign her in the last years. She's our best players over all the years." And yeah, I'm really happy that I'm attending matches. I'm following the Arsenal in the time where Kim Little is playing, and in 10 years we'll look back and say what a legend this was. The time when Kim Little was, yeah, she's underrated because she never won anything with Scotland. But what a player and what a role model she is. 300 matches for Arsenal, just great. Yeah, I hope she continues playing for 1-2 more years. I don't want to lose her.
No, absolutely not. I mean, we all don't. And it's funny you mention that about obviously international tournaments, because a player can't help their nationality, can they? They're born where they're born, right? And that shouldn't affect on the awards that they get given or the praise that they get. It shouldn't be affected by where they're from. It's unfortunate in a sense that she's from Scotland and she's only been able to play for Scotland, who aren't a great team. But that certainly shouldn't have held her back. I mean, she should have been getting Ballon d'Ors and all kinds of stuff anyway, because that should be about the best players, not what country they're from. And sometimes it seems as though the country that player from is more important than how good they are. And I think in Kim Little's case, that's definitely the situation, isn't it? Because you're right, she's never going to get the recognition because she's Scottish and Scotland aren't going to win tournaments. So, of course she isn't. But that doesn't diminish, or it shouldn't have diminished her standing in the game. Because I believe when you look through history, she will be one of the greatest players ever to play football in this country, probably in Europe. You know, one of Arsenal's best ever players. Look at some of the players that we've had in our history. And the fact that she's going to be in there as one of the best players Arsenal's ever had. I mean, she is incredible. You know, she's absolutely incredible. And yes, I think we all have to maybe accept the fact that she's coming towards the end of her career. Let's be honest. She's coming. She is. It's sad as it might be. She's coming to the end of her career. But, you know, and what that guy said to you at that game, you know, is absolutely right. She has been our best player for so many years, really. Despite all the great players that we've had, you know, she's still there week in, week out, consistent, driving the team on, doing the defensive side of the team when she has to, scoring goals when she has to, leading that team. She's a proper captain, and you can't really praise her enough. And 300 games, wow, amazing, absolutely amazing. And hopefully there's a few more to come as well before the end of it all for Kim, because yeah, she's been brilliant. And it did go a little bit underrated, the 300th game, because of all the fuss about Leah coming back, which we loved as well. But yeah, let's make sure Kim gets the credit she deserves for that. She doesn't want it, you can tell, you know, she doesn't like the spotlight, does she? Particularly, she's happy to be in the background, but she deserves praise all the time for what she's done and what she's done for Arsenal. Just absolutely incredible. And yeah, well done, Kim Little. And we look forward to many more appearances from you, especially this season, because it's going to be important that you're back in this team, because we need you and we've missed you. Hannah says, bench Leslie, start Stina. I kind of tend to agree with you. I've got to be honest. I do kind of agree with you. Or can you not find a way to get them both in the team, as we did at Man United away, one or two other games? Maybe that's the way. Stina's got to be in the team, I agree. LG says, I personally like Russo more than Stina, but she needs to step up in terms of goals. Yeah. 4 and 11 WSL, isn't that amazing? Especially the fact that Bunny Shaw scored 12, which is triple that. Yes. And I do think the difference is Bunny Shaw is an out-and-out set. I think if Stina Blackstenius played the minutes that Russo's played, she'd have probably scored 10, 11 WSL goals. So, because she's a similar sort of striker to Bunny Shaw, isn't she? In the terms that she's in the box, getting on the end of things, getting those tap-ins, whereas Russo's plays deeper, plays wider, and she's not going to get in those positions as much. But yeah. Russo doesn't score more goals. I've been saying this all season. She's a great player. And I think, you know, she's been a brilliant addition to the team, but she was brought in as a centre forward. She was brought in as a goal scorer, and she's not scoring enough goals. Absolutely not. And that is something she's got to definitely improve. Siri says, Amar hasn't got the same look in his eyes talking about Leah when he used to talk
shut
about
up.
Well, you know, Rafa's gone now.
Yeah.
Terms with it.
Bye-bye. That's gone now.
Greg says she might be coming to the end of her career, but she's still the best midfield player.
Oh,
yeah,
easily.
absolutely, yeah, of course she is. But we just need to start accepting it ourselves that she's not going to be here for another 5-10 years, is she? You know, she's got another 2 or 3 maybe. We'll see if she can avoid injury. But yeah, she's absolutely right. She is one of the greatest players ever still, you know, and even though she's coming to the end. 100%. Terry says, to be fair, Arsenal fans don't help really. We just expect her to be brilliant every week, and she will just take her for granted. Well, yeah, I suppose we do take her for granted a little bit because you just know that she's going to be brilliant. So it's like, well, okay, it's just Kim Little. She's just being Kim Little. Do you know what I mean? It almost feels like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But we do need to take time sometimes to stand back and say, you know what? How brilliant is she? And she proves it time and time again. And yeah, it's great to have her back. LG says, Tobin Heath said Kim Little is the best player she's ever played with, coming from someone who's played with all the stars at the. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, was that one of the reasons why Tobin Heath came to Arsenal to play with Kim Little? Because that might have been a comment that Andreas mentioned before. Maybe maybe it was Tobin Heath that said it, and that's why she came. But yeah, that's pretty high praise, isn't it, from anybody to an American player to say that? So, and I'm sure it won't just be Tobin Heath that thinks that. Most players that's played with Kim Little would say the same thing, I think, because she is an incredible player. So yeah, it was great for her to get her 300th appearance. And yes, let's not let Leah's fantastic comeback overshadow what Kim has done, what Kim's done, and what she continues to do for this great club. So yeah, well done to Kim Little. Congratulations, and yeah, we look forward to many, many more games from you in the future as well. Let's hope you get to 400. That'd be good, wouldn't it? That'd be great. Yeah. I mean, that'd be the record, wouldn't it? Because the record's like 385 or something, isn't it? I think the record appearance or something like that. So let's hope we can beat it, because if anyone deserves to, it's her, isn't it? So Reading was quite good, wasn't it? Really, we quite enjoyed that game, to be honest. But there's going to be a slightly tougher test for us coming up this weekend on Sunday when we travel to one of the most improved sides in the league this season. And of course, as you saw from that picture there, we owe them one, don't we? We owe them big time for the first game of the season when they somehow won 1-0 at the Emirates in a game that we should have scored 4 or 5 goals in, and it's proved to be the story of the season in many ways. But they're a good side this season, Liverpool. You know, we know how good their manager is. He's won league titles with Liverpool in the past. You know, he's a great manager, isn't he, Matt Beard? And he knows how to set his team up. He knows what needs to be done to get results, and he's done it against big teams. They beat Chelsea last season. They've beaten us this season. They're flying high in the league. They're a really good side. I think they're probably the most improved team in the league this season, actually. I really do think they are. And it's going to be a really, really tough game for us on Sunday. We are going to have to play a hell of a lot better than we did against Everton if we're going to win this game. There's no doubt about that. I mean, Andreas, this is going to be one of the big tests that we've got to come this season, isn't it? It's going to be one of the real big tests, Liverpool away.
This is a big test, and we have to prove something against them. We all remember this first match, start of the season, and I think we had 15 corners and about 25 crosses in their box, and we didn't make anything of it. It was was terrible to see this. I was at the Emirates for this match, and I think they had two shots on goal, and one was the corner and the header in. But we didn't find a way to through their low block, through their defense, and when you have more than 20 crosses and 15 corners, there should be at least one goal from this. I hope we have learned from this, and Jonas has rewatched this match again, because Liverpool will play similar. I don't think that now that they are home, they will start to be offensive and try to dominate the match. No, they will sit back and wait and let the ball possession for us, and wait what we will do. They know how open our defense is for counter-attacks. We saw this from Everton. One brilliant pass and we are totally open. So, Liverpool knows this, and this is the danger again. But on the other hand, In the first match of the season, we didn't have Beth, we didn't have Viv, we didn't have Leah. So our squad has improved, and we found together with all the new players. This was a time after the Champions League qualifiers, World Cup, Champions League qualifiers, and then start of the season. No real holiday, a lot of new players. So the team found together, and we have improved as a team, as the way we play. We have a lot of players back, but still the same problem with finding solutions against the low block. So this makes me concerned. I'm not sure that there will be a firework from us like in the second half at Leicester. I don't expect this. It would be great to see this, but it will be a really hard and tough match for us. And I would be happy if we take the 3 points, no matter how the result is. And I'm sure Liverpool will score. We will open them possibly one chance, and they will take it. There will be a goal for Liverpool, but in the end, the quality in our team should be enough to score at least 2 goals. So my prediction is we will win 2-1, but it will be a nervy and tough match. And I hope Jonas will react earlier, will make earlier changes, bring in the subs, change things. If the planned tactics doesn't work, then bring others in. We have so much firepower on the bench. Just try it. It's not only Leslie or Stina. It's also Viv or Frida or Kyra is still there. And that there is a possibility of playing Stina and Leslie together. Just try something and don't stuck in with the same 11 for 80 minutes if it doesn't work. So I was last Sunday. I was at Stamford Bridge and saw Chelsea versus Man United. Emma Hayes was not satisfied with the performance of the team, although they were 2-1 up at halftime. She made the first change in 55th minute, and the second change 7 minutes. This offers the players the chance to have an influence of the match if you have 20 or 30 minutes. So let's hope we will see this in Liverpool. And I say we'll win 2-1. We all will say.
Oh my God! Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, I said it at the start. I'll take scrappy 2-1 wins all day long if it means we get the 3 points. And in a game like this, where Liverpool are a good side, there's no doubt they're a difficult team to beat. I think they've only lost 2 or 3 this season in the league, haven't they? So, they're a very, very good team. So let's take a 2-1 all day long. And I don't know. I kind of expect us to go there and play well. I really do. I expect us not to play like we did against Everton. I really think we'll go there because we know how difficult this is and how important it is to get the right result. Terry says, Liverpool playing well, that's why I'm going 5-1 to Arsenal. Wow, I'm not sure about that.
5-1? Wow.
Greg says it'll be a tight game, 4-0 to the Arsenal. Well, I mean, we'll take a nice 4-0, won't we?
Tight game. Tight 4-0. Tight 4-0.
So he says, come on, Greg, you're trying to be on the panel with only a 4-0 tight win. Greg says, sorry, just trying to be like Andres. Andres has gone 2-1, so it's not quite the same, is it? Terry says, I watched Chelsea v Man United. They were both crap.
That's harsh.
Well, I don't know about that. I didn't think Chelsea were that great, if I'm honest. And every time I've watched Chelsea this season, I've not been overly impressed with them. I look at them and think, well, not that great, but they always find a way to win, don't they? So it doesn't really matter how good or bad they are. They just win games, don't they? Whereas sometimes we haven't managed to do that, have we? And that's maybe going to be the difference. But we'll see. I mean, this is going to be a very difficult game on Sunday. And, it's maybe come at a good time in the sense that we've had a few games now, 3 games, 3 wins in a row since the return from the winter break. And, we've seemed to be getting there. And I thought the other night was good. We dug in against Everton. So the signs are quite good that we're maybe turning a corner and pulling ourselves round and going to hit some good form. But it's going to be tough. I mean, Liverpool, they're a good side, aren't they? It's not going to be an easy game, is it, at all?
No, you can never take anybody for granted. Yeah, and even though our record was is good against them, I think when we last played there was in the FA Cup a couple of years ago. We won 4-0, and Katie scored that banger. She always tends to score bangers against Liverpool, whoever else she plays, seemingly. Vivilov's playing against them as well. I was reading earlier. She scored more goals and registered more assists, I think, against Liverpool than any other club. But no, I agree. Yeah, Beardy has definitely, as they call him, has definitely made his side tougher to beat. You saw at the Emirates with the low block how difficult it was for us to break them down. But being the first game of the season, I kind of forgave them a little bit. It was a disappointing loss. They'd only had a few weeks together or still to come into terms with the Champions League disappointment. But I feel like now we're hitting our stride. We're in good form. Yes, we're still offering chances to the opposition. But you saw, I mean, they took the lead last week against Man City, and after that, they rather fell apart a little bit, didn't they? You could see with the playing out of the back, and they played into City's hands, and ultimately, I think as well they created the odd chance after that, but they rather played into Man City's hands, trying to play out of the back, and Bunny Shaw scored the hat trick, and they didn't really show. I wouldn't say they showed much fight after that. But I was a bit disappointed in the way they made it too easy for Liverpool, and also, if I'm being honest, I think their goalkeeper's pretty lucky to have still been on the pitch when you completely wiped out Lauren Hemp. I mean, that's the most blatant red card you're ever likely to see. Yeah, somehow the referee only gave her a yellow. I'm like, really? She could have been knocked unconscious, and who knows what might happen. But thankfully, Lauren Hemp was okay because it was a shocking tackle by the keeper. So I'm kind of motivated that now. Hopefully, our strikers can put a few past them, and we can show what we're made of. Having said that, it won't be easy. We've only kept 2 clean sheets all season, and we will offer chances. Whether Liverpool can take them is another thing in its entirety. We only did one in September, but I feel confident in our strikers. I think we'll do well. It's been a happy hunting ground. We haven't conceded against them in the league since, I think, is it February 2020 when we beat them 3-2, and we haven't conceded that many goals against them overall. So I think it'll be a good day. It'll be a tight game, but I think we'll win this 3-1. So I'll say Arsenal will win 3-1.
He says there, come on, Amo, you're going to say a tie.
No, I'm not saying tight. That's not tight.
3-1 would be more than satisfying, wouldn't it? We'd all be over. I say I'll take a 1-0. Any win will do me. I don't really care too much, but it would be nice, wouldn't it, to really put in a good performance and show exactly that we can go to a difficult game, and it will be a difficult game, and go there and win. I mean, we did win 2-0 there last season, didn't we, in the league, if you remember. Leah scored, I think, in that game.
Yeah, that was a beauty as well, and Freedom Arnhem scored as well.
Yeah, she did, yeah. And, I know Liverpool are a better team this year, so it won't be a similar game. I think that was a game, wasn't it? Didn't we win the Lyon game was just before, wasn't it? Then we played Liverpool straight after.
Yeah, the week after we beat them 2-0, that's right. Yeah.
After Lyon, yeah. So, it was totally different circumstances this time. We played Reading away, and now we're going to Liverpool. Totally different type of opposition. The Champions League winners, Lyon, and this time it's Reading from the Championship. It doesn't matter. We still need to go there. And win. That's what we've got to keep doing. It's a tough game, but we've got the players, we've got the squad. I want to see Jonas. Yeah, if things aren't going well, if we're struggling to score or we're not doing as well as we can do, make those substitutions early, like Emma Hayes does. Yeah, do it. Don't be frightened to make changes too early in the game. If it's not working, it's not working. Don't keep your fingers crossed on the bench and hope it's going to work. Do something about it. You've got the players there to make a difference. We know they can make a difference, some of these players on the bench, and they have done. So, let's hope we do it. If they do, then I'm sure we won't have too many issues because we're a better team than them. We've got better players than them. Yeah, that isn't always what makes a difference. But yes, I mean, let's go there and get the game won. It's going to be tough, but I'm going to go for. We will probably concede a goal. I agree. I think we will concede a goal because we that's what we do. We do best, don't we? We concede daft goals. So it's probably a right soft goal as well that we concede, probably from a set piece or some crap goal. But they'll score. See, 3-1's I quite like a 3-1 actually. I'm going to go 3-1 as well. I think we'll win 3-1. I think that we've got enough firepower in our team, and we'll create enough chances. Probably less than we created at the Emirates, if I'm honest, but we won't need as many as at this time. Because, as Andrea said, the team's improved. We've improved since then. We've all worked together for longer. The new players have settled in. We've got players back fit and firing. So, yeah, I think we'll win 3-1. And I think Stina Blackstenius is going to score a goal. Whether it's from the start or from the bench, he'll do the job and get one of those 3 goals. LG's got a question there for Andreas. He says, I think Richie's wild for not wanting Oberdorf for Arsenal. What do you think, Andreas? Andreas, do you want Oberdorf for Arsenal? Come on, do you want Arsenal?
As she's playing for Wolfsburg, and I don't like her because it's an opponent for Bayern Munich, and we saw her play against Arsenal in Champions League. The way she plays is sometimes it's dirty and a lot of fouls, but she knows what to do because as soon as she gets hooked, she stops with these dirty fouls. So this what I don't like on her, that she's playing dirty as long as the referee lets her. But apart from this, she's maybe together with Wally, maybe the best holding midfielder in European football, and she's still so young. I think 22 now, 21, 22. I think if she wants to leave Wolfsburg, she will break a record transfer fee. I don't know if we will invest so much money because we have Wally with still 2 years contract. We have Kyra. I don't know, but if she's available, every top team will try. And she's a great player, and a great holding midfielder. Of course, she would fit in every big team. But I read that Chelsea is very interested in her and will be one of the main targets from Chelsea in summer.
Just one other thing on that.
That's the question, Andreas. Would you want her at Arsenal? There's no doubt that Oberdorf is a fantastic footballer, right? In what she does. The job that she does in the team, she's brilliant at it, right? And I'm not going to say she isn't. My point the other night, me and LG had this conversation on the game the other night. I think at midfield now, what we've got with Vicky Palova, Leah Walty, Kyra Cooney-Cross, Kim Little, I don't know if we need to strengthen the midfield. Even though Oberdorf's a great player, I would rather we strengthen maybe defensive positions a bit more covered defensively and improve that area of the team. We've got enough attacking players. I don't know. I'm not saying Oberdorf's not a great player. I personally, she wouldn't be top of my list, even if she was available, just because of the position that she plays. I mean, would you still take her though, Andreas? If we could sign her, despite the midfield that we've got, where would she fit in though? Would she play instead of Vicky Palova? I wouldn't play her ahead of Vicky Palova at the minute. Would you play her ahead of Kim Little? I wouldn't play her ahead of Kim Little. Would you play her ahead of Leah Volti? I wouldn't. I don't know. It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I said. And I think if we sign her, then probably Wally would think about leaving, because she knows that it's her position. She's 30, 31 now, and there comes a young player. Everybody says the best holding midfielder you can have. So this would mean Wally asking to let her leave, and I agree. I don't want this, but. And Oberdorf still has contracts, I think, at least until 25. So you don't get her for free. You have to take a lot of money for her. And no, I wouldn't spend 500 or 600,000 pounds for her this summer. When you see the squad depth in midfield that we have,
exactly.
But one thing is clear: it's better to have her in your team than in the opposition side. I don't like playing against her.
I mean, that's true as well. And obviously, if she does go to Chelsea, that's going to strengthen our biggest rival, isn't it? So you've got to look at it that way. But I don't know. I don't think midfield is an area that we necessarily need. With the players that we've got now, I think we've got the perfect midfield now with the balance that we've got. But having said that, I don't know. It is a tough one. I personally wouldn't necessarily go for her at this moment in time with the players that we've got. But yeah, if it means she goes to us or Chelsea, obviously we'll take her to stop Chelsea getting her. Absolutely. But whether or not we need her in our team right now with what the players that we've got, I don't know. I wouldn't want to see her come in and maybe stop the progression of Kyra or stop the progression of Vicky Palova. or cost Leah a place in the team. You know what I mean? So it's a tough one, isn't it? Because as good a player as she is, I don't like her as a person. I don't like her personality. I don't like the way she plays. So it's almost like, I like our players in our team now. They're all nice. No, they're nice girls, aren't they? They're likable.
Yeah,
and then you've got Urban, who just isn't very likable, particularly. I mean, maybe she is off the pitch. I don't know. I've only seen her play for Wolfsburg, kicking lumps out of everybody and all that kind of stuff. But, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of her to play for Arsenal. I'm not sure, but yeah, let's see what happens. I mean, Emma, would you take Urban for Arsenal right now or not?
I mean, I would love to see a player like that, but with 22 years old, we've got Cairo who's in that perfect position. But yeah, I still revert back to that semi-final we played in the first leg, and even forget what Katie did to her. So it wouldn't make Katie happy for a start. So who knows? Yellow card FC, that would help Yellow card FC even more, wouldn't it? If you think about how many bookings they get between those guys, isn't it? Between them, and the fact it took her out, that was so funny. I still remember the fact. Don't anger Katie, because if you get a player like that, Chelsea also wanted Katie McCabe as well. Let's not forget. So imagine if they came up against each other, we'll see a lot more. There's a bit more hostility between those players. So yeah, I think I'm very happy with the squad right now. She's a great player. I think we've got more than enough. How would you say, like for like players that can cover her and are not as physical as Lena. Well, she's a great player. I think I'm more than happy, and it's not for the reasons for winter. Katie, for example, I think I'm very happy with our squad depth at the moment. So yeah, maybe one day, but not for the time being.
Yeah, I kind of agree. LG says Arsenal is soft. We need a little bit of muscle in Overdorf. We've got Katie McCabe. We're not soft, are we?
We've got Katie McCabe. Exactly, man.
It's got Katie McCabe in it. We're not soft. We're certainly not. I agree. We have been soft maybe in the past, but certainly I don't think now. Vicky Palova gets stuck in that midfield. She doesn't pull out of tackles. Katie McCabe is going to kick anything that moves as well. I don't think we're soft anymore. I think we showed that when we played Chelsea. We were much. Even Emma Hayes admitted it. We were much more aggressive than them. We were. So I don't think you can say that we're soft now. Maybe a couple of years ago, you'd probably been right. But we've changed that now. Do we want to keep getting players sent off all the time? Because Oberdorf in the WSL would be a different proposition, maybe to in the German Bundesliga. I don't know. She might get more yellow cards and more red cards if she played in England. So that's the other downside, I suppose. But LG says that Oberdorf is a better player than Walty and younger. Also, it's not ideal to strengthen Chelsea further.
Yeah, but
no, I agree. We don't want to strengthen Chelsea further, but we can't buy every single player that Chelsea want to buy to stop Chelsea buying them. We can't do that. It's impossible. We have to look at ourselves. What do we need in our team? And at the moment, I think we need a bit more strength in defence, personally. Looking at the goals we concede, we need a goalkeeper. I think in the forward positions, we're probably okay, aren't we? Because we've got too many players already. We don't need to buy any more forward players. I think our midfield's great. I think we've got the right balance of youth and experience. We've got the right balance of physicality and technicality. And I'm not concerned by the midfield, really. I suppose if we can get out, it's not going to, break the bank and all that kind of stuff. And it's not going to unsettle other players, potentially. But it wouldn't be a priority for me. I'm sorry. I know you love Oberdorf, and that's fine. And I'm not saying she's not a great player, but it's not what my priority at Arsenal isn't that position. Greg said, yeah, Oberdorf would have to get around Katie first. Exactly, yeah, she would. Katie would take no nonsense, let's be honest. And I know which one I would rather have in my team at this moment in time, definitely. Terry says, going back to the Liverpool game, I think this will be a good game to start Russo and Stina up front. Potentially, most games to me would be a good game to start them both, but Jonas doesn't seem to agree, does he? So I'm not sure he's going to do that. We'll see. It probably will be one or the other, so it probably will be Russo and Stina coming off the bench at some stage, but we'll have to see. Terry says, Greg, I think we only need to change Andreas's way of thinking now. We've got to Richard Amar. Well, I don't know about that. We're still not quite as optimistic as you guys can be with your predictions, but maybe one day we will. I did say we'd score. I did say against Reading we'd score. Didn't I say 5 something against Reading? Didn't I? I can't remember what I said now. But anyway, I wasn't far off with my Reading score. Hadda says Liverpool, Spurs, and Man United. These are games that it's going to be to put Arsenal top of the table. Yeah, exactly. You're right. Yeah, we need. And obviously the Chelsea away game, Man City away as well. A lot of big games we've got to play, and we need to get results in them. Terry says, kind of agrees with me. Do we really need Herberdorf at this moment in time? Exactly. At this moment in time, I would say no, not necessarily, because we've got plenty of cover there and we've got good players there. LG says, Kyra is still raw, but Herberdorf is already experienced despite her being only 2 months older than KCC. Well, she's got more experience at the top level. Of course she has, but I don't know. I like Kyra, and I think Kyra's got more to her. Yeah. She's got more to her all-round game, hasn't she, Kyra, as I think. Herberdorf's great at kicking lumps out of people, brilliant. But I think Kyra's a better overall player. But that's just my personal opinion. But that's because I don't like Herberdorf particularly, because every time I've seen her play, she plays for Germany against England, kicking lumps out of everybody. She plays for Wolfsburg against Arsenal, kicks lumps out of everyone. I just don't like her. I'm sorry, I don't like her. She's a great player, don't get me wrong, I just don't like her. And I'd rather have Kyra Cooney-Cross because she's much nicer.
Yeah.
She's a great Terry says, can you imagine having Katie McCard and Herberdorf? We'd be down to 9 players every time we played Chelsea. That's a good point as well, actually. Yeah, it'd be difficult to keep them both on the pitch in certain games, wouldn't it? Let's be honest. Greg says, let Chelsea they'll be playing with 10 halves. One way of looking at it, isn't it? You know, that is definitely an issue. But anyway, we shall see. Hadder says, what Arsenal need is a keeper for now.
Yeah,
defense. I think we do goalkeeper, and I will strengthen the defence. I agree 100%.
That's correct. That is correct.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what I would say. So Liverpool, what do we think about the team? Is it going to be, do we think, the team that started against Everton and Watford, or will it be a little bit more mix and match? Have any of those players from Wednesday played their way into the team? Obviously, we know Stina's given herself a great shout with a hat-trick. Kyra had a great game. Chloe had a great game. And Andreas, do you think there's going to be changes to the WSL team on Sunday, or do you think he's going to go with what he's been playing in the last few sort of league games?
Probably Jonas will return to his WSL starting 11, and I think I also think that Stina would deserve a start, and I would try Stina and Aletta together, and maybe give Viv a rest. She has played a lot, and she's not at 100%. She's still finding her feet, finding her form. Why not give her one match rest and try Leslie in the deeper role and Stina up front as a forward? And in defense, I think he returned to Lotta and Amanda as partnership in centre back. It will probably be his WSL starting 11. Let's see. I think Chloe and Emily and Sabrina are out for the Gold Cup. I don't know exactly.
I think they're only going to be missing the Spurs game. I think the Gold Cup's not till February, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but the camp starts earlier.
Oh, okay, so fine.
Maybe they are still available on the weekend, but I don't expect the Conti Cup lineup, but more of the WSL lineup.
I think you're right. Terry says Chloe and Stina must start for me. Well, they both stake their claim, didn't they? The other night they were both brilliant, and I think they've both been brilliant all season when they've played. But yeah, who would you leave out for Chloe? Though I suppose Caitlin Ford maybe, but I thought she played well the other night. Got herself a goal. I thought she did well. She's done well recently, so I don't know. It's tough, isn't it? I mean, Emma, what do you think the team will be? Do you think there's going to be some changes from last week's game against Everton, or will it be that same fighting team that he seems to trust now, doesn't he, in the WSL?
Personally, I would stick with some of the players I started against Everton and against Watford, but I would like to see 1 or 2 changes. Yeah, I mean, I think the most obvious maybe it's a tough one. Maybe push Katie McCabe further forward and put Steph Catley in a left back. But Steph played a full game in the week, didn't she? So I don't know if she's ready to. She want to play number 90. It's tough, isn't it? We're right back. Of course, Emily will stay until Laura comes back, and then we'll have that headache. So yeah, I can't imagine there being too many changes. But I agree. Maybe Viv needs to be rested, and maybe he needs to start Steen or Chloe instead, and rather than risk burning her out, because they've only you have to realize Beth and Viv have only just come back from injuries. They're not going to rush Leah back, so okay, they're ready to play 90 minutes more often, but at the same time, I feel like you need to change up a bit more. So yeah, maybe 1 or 2 changes, but that at best. But yeah, otherwise, they'll probably stick to his tried and trusted 11, won't he?
Probably. I agree. I think he will, yeah. I mean, we've seen that he doesn't tend to change the WSL team now. And I say, it's not necessarily a bad thing to know your starting 11 and stick with it for the relationships in the team and stuff like that. My issue isn't so much that. My issue is the use of the squad, as we've said. He needs to give those players more time on the pitch when it's needed in games. And against Liverpool, you can imagine it's not going to be an easy game. We're not going to be 4-0 up. Well, no. Terry thinks we might be 4-0 up. I don't think we'll be 4-0 up. And a way to kind of change the team then, it's probably going to be a close game. And at some point or other, if we're going to say if it's 0-0 or it's 1-1 or whatever it might be, we want to go and win that game. You've got to make those positive changes to win the game, haven't you? And you've got to make those changes early enough. It's no good bringing Chloe Lacasse on in the 91st minute. She's not going to be able to have an impact. It's no good bringing Stina on the 81st minute. She's not going to have time to have an impact. You've got to get these key players. If you're going to start with your other team, that's fine. Make those changes if they're needed. You've got to be careful. If we're 2-1 up, you throw on all your attacking players, you leave yourself vulnerable or concede a goal. No, that'd be stupid. You've got to manage the game. But if it's level and you want to try, or you're behind and you want to try and win the game, you've got to give those players the opportunity to make the impact that we know they can make. But let's see what happens. I personally think it's more likely going to be pretty much the team that started. Yeah, you could give Viv a rest. I agree. She's not been firing at her best, but then maybe she needs the time on the pitch to be able to do that. I don't know. But yeah, you could certainly make a change there without necessarily making too much impact. Yeah, Roots in there, absolutely. But he likes playing Frida Marnham there, doesn't he? When Viv's not playing, he likes Frida in that position, doesn't he? So I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see what happens on Sunday. But it's a massive game. Terry says Chloe was on a different level against Reading, silky smooth, and still moved over. Yeah, she was brilliant. I agree. She was really good. Greg says Beth on the left, Chloe on the right. But Beth's much more effective on the right, isn't she, than the left, I think. I'm not saying she can't play on the left. She can. I think she's more effective on the right. That's where she does most of her damage. LG says Ford always seems to start regardless, despite her not doing enough for me to be undroppable. She's not clinical and often makes bad decisions in the box. Chloe deserves a chance. Left wing. Yeah, maybe that's a change. I actually think Fordy's doing all right, actually. I like Fordy. I think she's playing well. She works so hard for the team. Yeah, sometimes her final ball, I agree, isn't always the best all the time, but I like her. I think she's playing well. But yeah, we've got the squad to be able to rotate and make changes, haven't we? So let's maybe use that a bit more. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Everton team that starts this game from the start. We'll see. Whoever starts, whoever comes on, we should have enough to win. That's the important thing, isn't it? And we should do so. Let's hope so. Yeah, I mean, just before we finish, obviously, there was this Aston Villa situation, wasn't there, in the Conti Cup, where they brought on Noel Moritz, who played for us in the earlier game against Bristol City and Southampton. So, I mean, what is going on at Aston Villa, honestly? They're all over the place this season, aren't they? What is happening there? They're going to be kicked out of the competition, aren't they? And so they've got to be, haven't they?
It's a mistake that can't happen. And if Carla Ward and all members of her staff didn't realize this before the match, then Noelle must have known. She knows that she has played Conti Cup for Arsenal. And if nobody from the coaching staff tells her you're cup tight, you can't be in the squad, and she must go to Carla or other members of the staff and say, as far as I know, I played for Arsenal in the Conti Cup. Are you sure that I'm not covered? At least this question. I don't understand how this can happen. This is so unprofessional. This can happen to a team in the third or fourth tier, but not to a team in the top league, in one of Europe's top leagues. And they must be punished for this, and they must be eliminated from the Conti Cup for this mistake. It depends. If this would happen at Arsenal, I would be furious to see this and say, how can this happen? What are you thinking? What are you doing during the week?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it almost defies belief, doesn't it? Because like you said, surely Noel Moritz knows she played in the competition for Arsenal. She'll know that she did. I mean, yes, does she know the full rules of the competition? I don't know. You'd imagine that she probably would do. I don't know, but it seems it does for a top level team to make such a mistake like that. It seems incredible, doesn't it? Really, and they are going to more than likely get kicked out of the competition, which is crazy, absolutely crazy to do that. But anyway,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Emma, what did you make of that? It was all a bit strange, wasn't it? Really, really weird.
I know. I couldn't believe it when I read it, and I just thought, I was reading an article on BBC earlier. They should have been made aware of what was going on, and I don't know what the punishment's going to be. It's going to go to, I think they'll be probably kicked out, or Sunderland may take their place. But someone should have made them aware that she played, it's just unthinkable for a top level WSL club to be doing that, and remains to be seen what happens. And on that note, I wish everybody all the best for the weekend, and I'll see you again next week. I've got to shoot off now. See you. Take care, guys. Sorry. Take care.
See you later, Emma.
Take care. Bye bye.
Have a good weekend. Enjoy the game on Sunday. Now we could let you know the reason why Emma's leaving us now, but it may be better if we don't, just because we don't want him to get some stick off the chat. But anyway, he's got something else to do, shall we say? So he's leaving us early. But it was good to see him anyway. He contributed well to the show, and he lasted longer than we thought he might, so that's good as well. So Terry says Moritz was a mistake, but Havertz was even worse. Well, Havertz is allowed to play. That's the difference, isn't it? Havertz is allowed to play, and Noel Moritz obviously wasn't. But there you go. Hada says Chloe on the left, Viv to play number 10, and Beth on the right. Well, yeah, that may well be what we do, but then that may well be the team. So we'll see. Terry says Russo sort of centre mid, Chloe right, Stina, and Meadow 40 left. I don't think he'll play that, if I'm honest. I don't think he will, but let's see. Let's see what happens. But some strange goings on at Aston Villa, let's be honest. Very strange goings on at Aston Villa. But anyway, we'll see what happens in the rest of this competition. But we're through. And obviously, as well, us going through meant Tottenham were out as well, which is a shame, isn't it? So Tottenham went and we're in. Who do you want to get in the next round? And so obviously, they've moved it to Monday. Obviously, it's going to be probably one of the bigger teams, isn't it? Who would you like to get? Are you not bothered?
I would like to avoid Chelsea and Man City, and of course, I think London City Liners are through. This would be good for us. Or now with Villa probably being out, I think Sunderland could take their place. This would be okay for us. I would like to have an easier opponent just in the quarterfinals, just to get through and to have it easier, because we don't have the easy weeks in the WSL. It's and in FA Cup we have Man City, so give us an easier draw in the Conti Cup. So I'll go for London City Lionesses.
Well, yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be bad. I mean, if it is Sunderland that go through, I'd quite like Sunderland away, because it's a local team to me. So I'd quite like that. And also, as well, it's a game we should win. I don't want Man City, because we've got Man City in the FA Cup. We don't want to play them in the FA Cup and in the Conti Cup as well, do we? Not yet. So I'm not overly fussed about Chelsea. If we get Chelsea at home, I wouldn't actually be that bothered. Away, you don't really want, because away is always tough against Chelsea. But certainly at home, I wouldn't be overly concerned. Yes, you don't really want to get a game like that in a quarter-final, do you? We'd rather wait till later on. But yeah, my priority, my first choice would be Sunderland away. For me personally, would be great. I'd go to the game; it'd be fantastic. But yeah, I'm not overly fussed. If I'm honest, we shouldn't be scared of anybody. We're Arsenal. We've got this great squad. We should be able to beat anybody in it. We're the holders, let's be honest. We're the holders of the competition. So let's see. Greg says, let's take Chelsea out of everything. Yeah, let's do that. Why not? But let's play them and beat them. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Terry says Amar's got to do the washing up and the ironing. He hasn't actually. He hasn't got to do either of those two things. Well, we don't think he has. That's not the reason he's given. But anyway, he may join in with a bit of that as well. But yeah, no, I agree. I'm not scared of anybody, shall we say? We're Arsenal. We shouldn't be, but yeah, I'd like some. Yeah, London Lionesses would be quite a good draw, wouldn't it? But for me personally, I would like Sunderland away. So if you're going to fix the draw with the hot balls and all that kind of stuff, Sunderland versus Arsenal would be great. I'll take that all day long. Assuming Sunderland it is that replaces Aston Villa, which is assuming they will be. Greg says, is Klopp going to assist USA? Well, I don't know. He might do. Yeah, it seems everyone's going, don't they? quit English league and go to America. Maybe he will. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, of course, big news in the Premier League today. Jurgen Klopp's announced he's leaving Liverpool at the end of the season. Wow, that was a little bit out of nowhere, wasn't it? Well, from us, it apparently announced it to the club before Christmas. But yeah, that was a bit of a shock, wasn't it? Shall we say? But in interesting times. Do you think he'll go back to Germany, Andreas? Jurgen Klopp?
Yeah, I think he will make 1 year off from football, and I don't expect him to coach any team in Germany next season. And then let's see how the German national team does in the Euros. If Nagelsmann stays, if they go out in very early in the home Euros, then probably Nagelsmann will be sacked, and they will ask Klopp to manage the national team. He doesn't want the pressure and the weekly pressure from managing a team in the league, in cup competition, in Champions League. So if he takes over the national team, he has only a big tournament every 2 years, and the Nations League or something. So maybe this could be a job for him, but I don't think he will do it this year. Maybe 2025 as German national team head coach would be a good solution, because he's a fantastic manager, and his emotions, his passion, that's just great. And look what he did with Liverpool. They won the league, they won the Champions League, they won the FA Cup, and after a bad or not the best year last season, he's back on top now and competing for the title again. So I think he's just a great manager.
Oh, he is. There's absolutely no doubt. I mean, look at his record before he came to Liverpool as well. You know, at Dortmund, and even beyond that, when he managed the smaller teams, he did great, didn't he? And I think I read somewhere he's never been sacked, has he? He always leaves, and he's doing the same with Liverpool. So I mean, he took time off, didn't he, when he left Dortmund before he went to Liverpool? Didn't he? He had some time off to maybe rest and recover. And yeah, he may well do that again. You're right, and come back. Do you think he'll manage in the Premier League again or not?
No, I don't think so. He's too much connected with Liverpool, and he said he loves this team, and he will never coach another team in the Premier League. I don't think so. He was 7 years in Mainz, 7 years in Dortmund, now 9 years in Liverpool. So if he starts something, it's a long-term project for him. So he'll take 1 year off, and then let's see. But he won't return to the Premier League. I don't think so.
No, probably not, which is a shame, but I'd like him at Arsenal, actually, because he's great, isn't he? But, you know, what can you do? I mean, yeah, it's you know, you have to say, actually, I think it takes for a manager like Klopp, who's had so much success at Liverpool, to, you know, when, you know, they're top of the league, you know, they're in all four, they're in a cup final, they're in the other competitions as well, you know, to announce that he's leaving, I think that's quite a brave decision. I would say he did it at Dortmund as well, didn't he? He certainly doesn't shy away from those type of decisions, does he, Jurgen Klopp? You know, he's you know, he wants to do what's right for him, doesn't he? And you've got to respect him for that.
Yeah, he always makes early decisions, and I think in Dortmund he said it after Christmas too. So the club can make his plans and can look for a new manager. Everybody knows what's going on. There's no will he stay, and no, he made his decision. He told it to the club. Now a few weeks later, he told it to the fans, to everybody. That's a good character, and I think even if he coaches the wrong team, I think we all like him, and he's a very good person.
Yeah, he's entertaining as well, isn't he? Let's be honest. You know, some of his interviews, he's quite funny. I don't even think sometimes he means to be funny, but he just is funny, isn't he? I just think he's brilliant. And actually, I love his style of football. You watch Liverpool play, you watch Dortmund play before when he was there. It's a good style of football, isn't it? It's exciting to watch. You know, he would rather win a game 4-3 than, you know, win a game 1-0, wouldn't he? He's that type of manager, isn't he? And I kind of like that. You know, he takes risks, he takes chances, he'll throw on loads of attacking players when they're losing. And, you know, I kind of like that. And yeah, you've got to give him a load of respect. He's a great manager. His record is incredible. And Liverpool are gonna find it difficult to replace him, aren't they? Let's be honest. They're going to find it really tough to replace what he's done there for the last sort of 9 years. LG says 103 points out of a possible 105 between January 2019 and February 2020 is insane. Top quality manager. Yeah, I was worried at that time. Do you remember when they almost looked like they were going to go unbeaten that season, didn't they? And they finally lost the game. I think it was Watford or somebody beat them. Someone rubbish beat them. And I was getting worried they were going to do an Invincibles actually that year, and they didn't. So, but yeah, no, you're right. He's incredible, really. Terry says, I love Klopp, always makes a mug out of Arteta. Well, he's not the only one, is he? Let's be honest. Greg says, Klopp to take over from Jonas at the end of his contract. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? That would be funny, wouldn't it? That would be great, actually. Terry says, Klopp won't come to Arsenal. Too much to put right with too many crap players to get rid of. Well, I don't know. He went to Liverpool at a time when they wasn't fantastic. And he rebuilt, didn't he? But I kind of agree. I can't see him coming back to the Premier League when he leaves. I think he will go back to Germany. And yeah, maybe the national team job would be perfect for him, because I think maybe, you know, he's very emotional and he's very energetic, isn't he? And it takes a lot. It must take a lot out of him physically and mentally. And maybe a national job now at his time, maybe is the right thing. You may be right. He might end up managing the national team for Germany, perhaps. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, we wish him well for the future. Maybe not so much for the rest of this season, but we certainly wish him well for the future, because he's been great for the Premier League. I think he's been great. And you know, yes, he's said a few daft things at times, but we kind of love him for that, though, no less. LG says it's interesting to me to see how this so-called system players like Trent and Salah will perform without Klopp. Yeah, it's always interesting, isn't it, when a manager goes, how the players that stay, how they adapt to the new manager. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. You know, it depends who Liverpool get in as well, doesn't it? You know, who takes over. They've got plenty of time to get it sorted, haven't they? I suppose, you know, it's only January, so they've got sort of 6 months to get a new manager, and I'm sure they'll do the right process that they need to do. If they want Arteta, they're quite welcome to have a word with him. You know, they can take him if they want. But anyway, but no, it'll be sad to see Klopp leave the Premier League, because he's been a breath of fresh air. Yeah. So good luck to him for the future. But there you go. Terry says even Klopp couldn't turn Havertz into a footballer. Well, I don't know. Maybe he could. But we'll see. Well, we won't see, because he's not going to get the chance to find out, is he? Although you see, they're both German, so they understand each other. So maybe he could. You know, maybe he could, and he might manage him in the national team, mightn't he? So there you go. Maybe he will get a chance. We'll see. Anyway, that's slightly different, slightly off topic a little bit. It was obviously news today, come as a big shock to most of us, I'm sure. So yeah, just obviously see what happens there. But this has been, of course, our Arsenal Women's Show. It's been great tonight to look back on a busy week. You know, 2 big games, a really big game to come at the weekend. So we're really looking forward to that. Don't forget to join me at 4:15. It's 4:30 kickoff, actually, for a women's game, which is quite unusual on Sunday, isn't it? So we'll be here for that one. So join us for that. Of course, that's going to be a really big game, a really tough game as well. But let's see how that one goes. And then, of course, next week, Tuesday, the men are back. Nottingham Forest away. That's going to be a tough game, isn't it, as well? So we'll be bringing you coverage of that as well. And potentially next Wednesday night, we'll have a little Arsenal review show. Maybe get Neil on and Leah on and look back on the Nottingham Forest game. And then, of course, next Friday, we'll be back, of course, with more great Arsenal Women's Show with the guys, Andreas and Amar. So thank you to all you guys for watching. Thanks to Andreas, of course, back on the show. Great to have you back. Have you enjoyed being back with us?
Yeah, of course, I enjoyed to be back in the show, and it's always good to have a review on a week when there are wins. And yeah, this week was something special with the Leah comeback, and so yeah, it was great to discuss this all, and I enjoyed it very much.
Great, that's great stuff. Also, it's great to have you. It's great to have Amar as well. I know he's busy this evening. You know, it's grateful that he gave us some of his time in between his other life he's got going on. But it was great to see him again, as always, of course. And I'm sure he'll be back to give us his full time next week, I'm sure. So we look forward to that. Don't forget to join me on Sunday for the big game. Wow, it's going to be incredible, isn't it? Arsenal have to win. If we beat Liverpool away, then maybe, you know, we can start to think that this team is heading for great things. Terry says, great show, Richard, Andreas, and Cinderella. Let's see, he's maybe a Cinderella tonight. Yeah, he says, "Come on, you Gunner girls, hit that like button. Yeah, please give us a like as well." Maureen says there, maybe Klopp wants a rest. Yeah, no, I think he does. Absolutely, I think he does need a rest. He gives a lot, doesn't he? He gives it all, doesn't he? Let's be honest. He probably expends more energy on the side as a manager than the players do on the pitch. Actually, when you watch him, so yeah, he probably does need a rest. You're right, and I'm sure he'll go away and come back, and whatever it is he does next, whether it's a national team, whether it's a club team in Germany or elsewhere, we shall see. Maureen says there, he's not a grass to coach another team. No, he will do. I'm sure he'll coach another team eventually, just maybe not straight away. Yeah, he maybe will have a break, but we'll see. Anyway, join me Sunday at quarter past 4. Sorry, for the Liverpool game. That is going to be really, really good. So join me for that. Join us next week as well. Loads of great stuff on the channel. Give us a like and do subscribe. Thanks to you guys for watching. Thanks for all your comments as always. Thanks to Andreas for joining us this week live rather than just on video link. He's actually live with us, which is great. Amar, of course, as well. We will see you Sunday, guys. Take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your week. The weekend starts now. It starts officially now. You can go and have a drink, whatever you want to do on your weekend. Go and enjoy. And we will see you Sunday. Take it easy, guys. Thanks for watching. Come on, you Gunners. Come on, you Gunners. Let's do it.
Bye.
See you later, guys.